Hi guys, my name is Lucien. I'm a videographer in the agency called Cargo Kommunikation here in Bern. And today I wanted to break down our recent project that we did for Berner Baumeister and for Matthias Aeschbacher, a Schwinger sports athlete here in Switzerland that is not only a Schwinger, he's also a bricklayer. And in this project we wanted to get these two aspects together in a short documentary style advertisement. For years I wanted to shoot on real anamorphic cinema lenses. No fake anamorphic filters, nor adapters, on real anamorphic glass. And for this project it finally happened. But what I didn't expect it is how insanely difficult this shoot would become. Because I decided to shoot a whole documentary style commercial on the Atlas Orion anamorphic glasses. Solo operating the camera with two Atlas Orion anamorphic lenses. Manual focus, which I didn't do on any other project yet. A pretty heavy cinema rig and fast, unpredictable movements. And honestly, there were moments where I thought maybe this was the wrong decision picking these lenses for this project. But when I saw the footage afterwards, it completely changed how I look at lenses, at cinema lenses in particular, and at cinematography as a whole. The client of this project were Berner Baumeisterverband here in Switzerland. And the idea was to create a film about Matthias Aeschbacher, who is not only one of the top Schwingers here in Switzerland, but also works as a bricklayer. And we thought this would be an amazing combination already for shooting such a documentary style commercial. On one hand, you have this amazing traditional Swiss sport, and on the other side, hard physical construction work. And together with Sina, who directed with me this film, we wanted to connect these two worlds emotionally together. Before the shoot, Sina did a long pre-interview with Matthias, and during this conversation, one theme kept coming back over and over again. How to use your time. How much sacrifices do you have to make when you work as a professional bricklayer and also as a professional athlete in this really hard physical sport on the top level in Switzerland? That became the emotional foundation of the entire film. And visually, I knew immediately that this might be a perfect opportunity for me to tell a story a bit visually different than the usual setup we have. I didn't want a clean commercial look. I wanted character, texture, imperfection, weight. And honestly, shooting a real project on anamorphic lenses was a dream for me since years. I always loved how anamorphic lenses render the image. There is something just a little bit more emotional about that that you don't get with spherical lenses. The distortion, the flares, the focus roll-off, just the whole package, how the footage looks when it comes straight out of the camera. The way the subject separates from the background, it feels imperfect in the best way possible. And we didn't bought these lenses, of course. They are really expensive, and this is also a tip if you are also a video creator. Just rent these glasses and get the experience for yourself. And the price to rent these lenses and test it out are way more achievable than when you would like to buy some Atlas Mercuries or Atlas Orions. And the second I saw the first shots come to life in the back of the camera, I knew immediately this image has something that I was chasing for years, and I hadn't felt that exciting about a lens in a long time. But the reality hit immediately when we were setting up the cameras, and also I tested it before, but in the real world it was just a little bit different. When you are in an unpredictable environment, you maybe have to pack all your gear and go upstairs, downstairs. It's just different than using it just in the studio. So these lenses are insanely heavy. And because this was a documentary style shoot, I was moving constantly, following actions, adjusting frames, adjusting also the lamps we had on set. We used for the most part two lights one FOTSA 500 and a small kicker light. I don't know the name exactly. And one massive mistake was I didn't bring an easy rig on set, which sounds small until you have this really heavy setup in front of you, and you also have a monitor on top, and you have to try to pull manual focus while also getting some different coverage of the scene, some different perspectives, and also focusing with these lenses isn't that easy because the de-squeezed image, you don't see the focus peaking that good because the image is just a little bit small and not the best quality delivering it out on the screen, or at least in my screen I had to a little bit guess where the focus were. And also this was really the first project where I pulled focus manually with no second operator that pulls the focus or that sees the image as well. So I operated the whole camera system just solo. And honestly, it was brutal, especially during the training scenes. So I was constantly trying to keep focus, keep the composition in the right way, having the storyboard in mind together with Sina, which also helped me a lot with that. Doing smooth movements with this big camera and also hit the focus where it needs to be for the shot. And honestly, I wasn't really sure about some shots. I got a lot of coverage for the whole project, but some shots I thought maybe wasn't even usable because of the focus. But in the edit, I saw most of them were quite good in focus, and also with the focus roll off, the image isn't the sharpest image possible. So if the focus isn't absolutely perfect, some fast moving shots may forgive even that and are usable no matter less. Some technical issues that we have is the R5C is a full frame camera, and the Atlas Orion, even though it is bigger than APS-C, it's not quite a full frame lens. So I got really heavy vignetting on the sides, and also the picture where you see on your screen isn't even the full view of the actual data that you get when you import the files onto your computer. And I was shooting the whole project in 8K RAW because I knew I had to crop in a lot because we were not planning on delivering it in the full scope format. So we had to crop in to almost 16:9, and this was in mind, and because of that I choose to record the project in 8K, so I still got plenty of resolution to play with when cropping in the final film. But then in the edit I saw the footage and I de-squeezed it, I did a little bit of test grading, and honestly I completely fell in love with the image of these lenses. They have so much character in it. Sometimes the focus roll off, the flares, just how the image renders is so spectacular, and it really feels so much different from, for example, the RF lenses. The image feels way grittier and way more organic, almost imperfect in a human way. And to tell this story in particular, it was the perfect fit. Because Matthias' world isn't the most polished world, it's physical, rough, demanding, and somehow the Atlas Orion translated this feeling really good visually. It's hard to explain, but some lenses just make you feel something. And I haven't had the experience other than the CR that get me this exciting and that get me that feeling in a long time. This generally gave me a whole different perspective on lenses in general, and especially in the anamorphic world, and how different it is to shoot anamorphic than spherical lenses. And once I started grading the project in DaVinci with the Dehancer plugin, everything came together. The film emulation of Dehancer paired perfectly with the not polished look of the anamorphic lenses. I didn't want the image to feel overly clean and digital. I rather was going for a kind of gritty and just imperfect look. I almost could feel the dust, sweat, and just the atmosphere of the scene I was in. So would I do this again for this project? I think actually yes. Just for the amazing experience to try these lenses for a project, I would do this in every case. Will I rent the Atlas Orion in the future? I'm not sure. It really has to fit the project, and I want to incorporate the anamorphic factor into my future work, but I'm not sure if the Atlas Orion is the right fit to do this really often, because there are some Blazar lenses out there, and I think for the solo run and gun shooting I would prefer this setup because it's lighter, it doesn't get in the way, you can move quickly, you can achieve a similar look, but you have way less headache in the pre-production, in the preparation, in the physical movement of the shoot, where it's going. But will I use the Atlas Orion on some future project? Absolutely yes. I think these lenses, as heavy as they are, I didn't saw any lenses that beats the Atlas Orion in terms of look and how the image feels. It's just a little bit of something that I can't explain that makes this image way more emotional to me than other lenses. But I definitely would bring an easy rig on a future shoot of the Atlas Orions, and I'm just about to show you the whole project. And if you want to see more behind the scenes and project breakdowns like this, leave me a comment and I will do this for some future projects of Cargo Kommunikation. Thanks also to Cargo Kommunikation, Matthias Aeschbacher, Sina and Berner Baumeister to helping this project come to life, and also that I can share these insights and behind the scenes here on YouTube.
Zeit ist die ehrlichste Dimension. Sie lässt sich nicht überholen. Im Sagmau nicht. Auf dem Bau nicht. Sie dehnt sich, wenn man wartet, auf den nächsten Gang, auf den nächsten Stein. Sie staucht sich, wenn man lebt, wenn der Griff sitzt und der Boden kommt. Wenn es auf der Baustelle rauscht. Physikalisch begeht sie immer gleich, menschlich nie. Ja, und darum stellt sich für mich auch immer die Frage, was fangen wir mit unserer Zeit an, die wir alltag haben. Nur kämpfen, nur werden. Das eine kann man lang, das andere hat ein Ablaufdatum. Zwischen Sagmau und Baustelle, Grenzen, Kanten, Ehrgeiz und Familie.
Grosser Aeschbacher-Mann.
Doppelbelastung ja, aber von nichts kommt nichts.
Aeschbacher, das ist wieder der Aeschbacher, den man kennt.
Ja, und wenn die Zeit abläuft, dann siehst du, es bleibt. Ein Mauer, der ein Haus trägt, oder ein Kranz, der für ewig bleibt. Heute bin ich vor allem Schwinger, aber Maurer bleibe ich für immer.